For September, dear God, I feel extremely sad. I almost cannot explain it, but it's more like sadness multiplied. I feel distressed, lonely, alone, lost, unmotivated, and uninterested in life. Why am I here, God? Please help me out of this. I need you. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're here for the first time. So today I am going to be sharing my story, not for sympathy or not for attention seeking, as people would call it, but I'm here to share my story because when I was going through the things I'm going to talk about, I felt alone, and I'm just doing this video to help someone realize, even if it's just one person, help someone realize that you are not alone. You are never alone. Whatever you're going through, there's always going to be someone else going through the same thing, and perhaps you can just find comfort in knowing that you're not alone, and you can always reach out, and there's always going to be people who are willing to help you, even though it does not feel like it. Okay. So, as you've seen by the title of the video, today I will be sharing my depression story with you guys. I'm not sure if I'm looking directly into the camera, but I really hope I am. So I think for me, my depression started, I'm not sure, but I think it started when I was 12. I lost my mom. My mom passed away. So my mom was my best friend. She'd have done anything and everything to protect me. And she passes on. Obviously, when your parent passes on when you're very young, no one really speaks to you and asks how you're doing and whatnot. It's just like your mom's passed away, and then the funeral happens, and everyone goes home, and then you continue with your life. I remember being so sad. I actually wanted to die at some point. I had really wanted my life to end so I could be with her. And then I went into high school, and I just learned to live with it. I went into high school, and I was a good child. I was doing well academically, but I was a good child with a very low self-esteem. So I had low self-esteem because of my height. I felt like I wasn't beautiful. I felt like I was not attractive. I was taller than all the boys. I was taller than all my friends. I don't know how tall I was in high school, but I'm currently 1.8 meters tall, so you can imagine how tall I was. And but it was like I always found ways to cover that up. I was so unhappy. I had very low self-esteem. I didn't like how I looked, but I was very good in sports. I played chess, and I was one of the best chess players in my school, and I did well academically, so I had a good relationship with my teachers. And people would tease me, people who were not like close to me, people who were in other classes, people in the street, like people who always had something to say about my height. But the people close to me and the people in my class would never tease me because I was funny. Like, I used to make a lot of jokes. I used to make people laugh in school, and that was just my coping mechanism. I would make people laugh, and people would be happy, and I'd make jokes, and then I'd go home and be sad. So I was living two separate lives. So I was at home being sad, wishing I could be shorter, wondering if there's anything I can do to make myself shorter. I would slouch, you'd never find me standing tall, like never. I had really low self-esteem. So fast forward into now being an adult. So fast forward to adulthood. Now I'm an adult. I'm grown. I have a job. I've moved out of home. But I was sad. There was a sadness inside me, but it wasn't so sad. I wasn't so sad I didn't want to be alive or whatever. I was just so sad about life, the way my life was going, the direction in which my life was going. I felt like life was moving slower. My life was moving slower than I wanted it to. I would see my peers having all the things that I want to have, things that I wish I could have, and start comparing myself. And I know that every time I do that, then I always end up feeling like such a failure. I would always end up feeling like such a failure. It got to a point where I got comfortable with being sad. You know, when you sad, and you're like, yeah, this is me, I'm sad, and you can't even remember the last time you were happy. That was me. I was just sad, and I was just living life. Got to a point where I was very tired, physically, mentally, and emotionally. I was just drained. So from there, I started becoming very unhappy with life. I was very sad. I realized I was always sad. If someone was making a joke, I was laughing, but sad. Anytime I would be around people, I would be sad, right? It got to a point where I stopped wanting to be around people. At the time, I didn't know what was happening. I just thought to myself, it's sad. It's just, I'm sad. I told myself things. I just need to work harder. I just need to make more money so I can afford the things I want. I got a second income at this point. I joined Herbalife Nutrition. It worked, but only up until a certain time. Now I thought to myself, if I could like make more money, get a boyfriend and all that, then I'll be happier. But I started going into this. I felt empty and I felt very heavy in my heart. It was very, very dark, and it was very, very scary. I didn't know what was happening, and then I had started being very scared. I started developing anxiety around that time, I guess. I have always had anxiety, but it escalated, and I just wanted to, I had an existential crisis. I didn't understand why I was alive. It was just deep, dark, and empty, you know. And then I reached out to my friend, one of my close friends. I don't really know the definition of a best friend, but I feel like she was almost that to me. She was a best friend. I reached out to her. I'm like, hey, babe, this is what's happening. This is how I'm feeling, and I don't like it. I just feel like it's the devil. And I don't like it. I just feel like I don't want to be alive anymore. I don't want to do this life thing anymore. I don't know how to do it. I'm so scared. I feel like I'm not doing well in life. I'm a disappointment to myself. And I also told her, I made sure to emphasize the fact that I was very, very sad, to a point where I'm struggling to bring myself back to being that happy child I was. And she was just like, oh, and then I was just like, I am depressed. I think I am depressed. And she was just like, no, man, there's no such thing. Depression doesn't exist. You need to get yourself together, snap out of it. She told me that she doesn't want negative people or unhappy people in her life. I can't remember the exact words, but I needed support from her, and I got the exact opposite. She was just really she was making it seem like I was like making things up, and I was just like, okay, no problem. And then I was like, okay, cool. Then I never spoke to her about it again. And then I reached out to one of my friends. I know that she is struggling with depression, and I told her what was happening. And then she was just like, she was really nice about it. And then she told me that, I actually honestly cannot remember what she told me, but I do remember that she was always there for me, to listen, to talk to me and everything. But that wasn't enough. You know, it didn't get better. It got to a point where I had started losing interest in the gym. If you know me, you know I live in the gym. I love gym. I had stopped going to the gym. I stopped eating well. I wasn't taking care of myself. I was just like, it's like, you know, depression is weird. You're just like sitting, watching life happen. It's like you are watching your life happen on the TV, and you're just sitting there, and you have no control over it. And I told one of my colleagues about it, and she was very helpful, and then she referred me to her therapist. And then when I went and saw the therapist, we did an assessment, and it was like an hour long. Yeah, the session is just an assessment, him getting to know me, me filling out some questionnaires, and then we discovered that I was depressed. I had major depression and was also suicidal and had anxiety as well. I realized I was not depressed because of what is happening currently in my life. That was part of the reason, but I was depressed because of childhood trauma. Because I got a really good therapist, and we unpacked everything. I was unhappy because my life was nonsense. I felt like my life was nonsense at the time, and because of everything that happened in my childhood. There's a lot of stuff that happened in my childhood, but I think the main thing was growing up. My mom, I watched my mom get abused physically by the men she was in relationships with. Every time she'd get into a relationship, she would somehow end up with a man who was physically abusive, and they would do it in front of me. And then I had to watch my mom die. My mom died in the hospital, but before that, she was at home for weeks. She was very ill. I remember I had to make her food because she couldn't do it for herself. It's so weird looking after like a parent when you're a child. It's like they're supposed to look after you, but now you're looking after them because they're very ill. And I loved doing it. I loved making her food. I enjoyed it because I felt like the food, her eating, was going to make her feel better, because I know that she wasn't fine. She was weak, and I wanted her to get better, but she ended up in the hospital. When she went to the hospital, I thought she was coming home. I thought she was going to get better because now they know what's wrong with her and they're going to fix it, but she didn't. So my mom passed away, and then I was raised by extended family, obviously, and I was very, very close with my great grandmom. She was there for me, supported me emotionally, not like gave me counseling on my mom's death or anything, but she was always there for me. And she also supported me financially when I needed it. But unfortunately she passed away as well in I think it was 2013. I lost her. And then when I was 18, when I turned 18, I met my dad. I had known my dad, but we never had a relationship. And ever since my mom died, I had always wanted to have a relationship with my dad, but I can't say he never wanted it, but he never tried. He never reached out to me, and all that. And yeah, it was very heartbreaking for me. I wanted him in my life so badly, but he was not a part of my life. When I was 18, I met my father, and I forgave him. I was very happy, and then he told me that he was sorry for not being in my life and whatnot, and but he was sick, and he had to go to the hospital, and I was just like, okay, no problem, it's gonna be fun, he's gonna be fine and whatnot. But unfortunately he passes on as well 3 months after I had started getting to know him. And yeah, that broke my heart, but I just brushed it off. I never spoke about it and everything. Fast forward to college. I think college was my first real relationship. I had a relationship in high school, but it was those silly relationships, where you just go to the what do you call this, to the public phone. I didn't have a phone. I go to the public phone and call him, hi, how are you, I love you and whatnot. And then at school I'd act like I didn't know him. Yeah, it was just like really childish. Yeah. And then in tertiary, in college, yeah, I had met a guy, and we started getting to know each other, and he was a really good guy. We were like so into each other. It just felt really amazing. And he passed away. He died in a car accident. With his brother. So it was him, his brother, and his little brother. They were in the car driving home. and they got into a car accident and they died. Him and his little brother died, and yeah, I was shattered. I was so shattered. And then I was just like, okay, cool, it's fine. Even after that, that was something I never spoke about. Even though the people around me, my friends, knew I was shattered. People who were like family to me knew I was shattered. I never spoke about it. It was just like another, another thing in my life that just happened. So yeah, in therapy I realized that it's just a combination of a lot of things that lead you to being depressed. So yes, depression is very debilitating. It affects every part of your life. I know it affected my work life, it affected my dating life. I remember one thing about me is I love love. I love seeing people happy. When people are in a relationship, it makes me happy. But for someone like me who had been single for so many years, I just thought to myself, what is wrong with me? And then why can't I find people to take me out on dates? And then I started dating, and obviously I'd meet people, some I'd vibe with, some not. But I do remember before I was fully diagnosed with depression by a professional, I remember talking to a guy. I don't know how we met. We never met in person, but I was talking to him, and he was so good to me. He was so good to me. He was very patient with me, and I pushed him away. We got to know each other. I felt like we had a really strong connection. I really feel like, when you when you meet someone new and you're like, I think he's the one. That was the case with me, because this guy was so kind, he was so patient, he was so gentle with me. But because I was going through my own thing, and because of this cloud of sadness and heaviness hanging over me, I always thought to myself, okay, when you have depression and anxiety, your brain always makes you look at the negative things. And I always thought to myself, okay, what if he doesn't like me in person? What if he thinks I'm too tall? What if he doesn't like being around me? And then I started giving myself anxiety over meeting him, and I managed to convince myself that he wouldn't like me in person, and so I just pushed him away, which I really regret, but it is what it is. I just know that depression can affect you in so many ways. It makes you see things exactly how they are not. And yeah, that was my story. That was my life. Most of the time I was sad also. I didn't want to bring someone into my life while I was sad, and my sadness was something that I was not really honest about. I was never like, hey, so I am a sad person, do you want to be a part of my life? Because the thing with depression is, it is very hard to find people that understand. It is very difficult my therapist always say to me, you need a support system. I'm like, but how do I even get a support system? How do people support something they don't see? Because with things like depression and anxiety and other mental health issues, people cannot see it. People cannot see it. Only you can feel it. Only you experience it, and you can't explain it to the next person unless they are going through it. Most of the time, that's the only time the person will understand. I know a lot of people now who are depressed and have good support system. Their husbands are very supportive, the boyfriends are very supportive, their friends, their families, but that's not always the case. And because it was the same with me. The people I reached out to when I was going through the most were not able to be there for me. They were not there for me at all. And it was heartbreaking, because I'd be like, I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be alone today. Please help me. Can you please just spend some time with me and whatnot? And yeah, people take it as sadness, you know, but depression is not sadness. Depression it was never sadness. Depression is exhaustion, emptiness, darkness, hurt, anxiety, loneliness. That is depression. Depression is not sadness, not even at all. It's just like being in a tunnel and seeing no lights at the end of the tunnel. That's what depression feels like. So yeah, it was hard for me, having no support system. I had to go through most of the things alone. I had friends, but you know, you just don't want to bother people. You don't always want to be reaching out to people and telling them that you're not feeling great, you're feeling down, you're feeling sad, and all that stuff, you know, because most of the time, 9 out of 10 people don't get it. So yeah, sometimes very difficult to find a person who is there for you. Like sometimes when you're going through a depression, you want someone who's going to be there for you all the time. And you know, when you call on them, they're there for you. And the people who said they would be there for me were not always there for me, you know. And I was like in a very vulnerable time of my life, but I also understood people have their own lives, you know. And before that, I didn't have people that I felt like cared about me. And even when I was depressed, I didn't have people that I felt like cared about me enough to drop whatever they're doing to talk to me, you know. But I had this one person, my colleague, the one who referred me to the therapist. She was there for me like you wouldn't understand. She wasn't my friend then, but she's my friend now. She's an amazing friend. Thank you so much. She would send me music anytime I'd message her and be like, hey, I'm not okay. She would send me music. She would send me 10 minutes, 15 minutes long voice notes just talking to me. She would call me. She would pray over me. She would pray with me. She would pray for me. She would just randomly text me and be like, hey, I'm praying for you. The devil is a liar. He's not going to win. She gave me so much love. She was so gentle with me. And yeah, because of her, I learned, if we're being honest, she really did help me get out of that depressive state. And and therapy helped. And I was on medication. I was put on medication, which I'm not taking anymore. I can do a video about that if you are interested about how I was put on medication, what medication I was taking, why I stopped taking the medication. And I'm doing well. I'm doing great without the medication. It's been a couple of weeks now, but I'm doing so well. And I'm just going to give you advice that I gave myself. If you're going through the same thing, if you are depressed or you have anxiety, advice from me to you, for me as well. So the first one was for relationships. What I told myself is, I'm not going to go look for a relationship. I'm not looking for love. It is said that you mustn't look for love. Love will find you. I'm just hoping to find someone who form a friendship that eventually changes into a relationship. Hopefully meet someone who is kind and very understanding, and someone who's gentle. The second advice, so that's the advice to you as well. Don't go looking for relationships when you're feeling alone and lonely. Just nurture the relationships you have. If you are a loner like me, then you can just reach out. There's always going to be people there who can help you. For me, it was my colleague, and I'm forever grateful. The second thing is to reevaluate life. Look at the things that I'm not happy about in my life and see where I can change, how I can change them, and reevaluate relationships and friendships. So basically look at the relationships that you have in your life, the friendships that you have in your life right now, and cut people off if they're not good for your soul. Just do it. And the last one is to stop comparing myself to other people. Everyone is on their own journey, and when the time is right, I will get to where I want to be. In conclusion, things are not perfect. You need to work on yourself. I'm definitely working on myself, and I've definitely worked on most of the things that I wasn't happy with. I am healing, I am growing, and I have become a better person. And I was depressed for the longest of times, and I managed to get out of it, and I feel like you can do it as well. And if you feel like you have no one to talk to, I am currently not on social media. If you feel alone and you're going through the most, please go to my comments section and comment, and I'll reach out to you. I'll talk to you. I will be there for you. I know what it's like to feel like there's no one there for you, and to feel like nobody understands. I will be that person for you, I promise. Just do it. I always check my comments, and I make sure I respond to everyone. If you are dealing with depression, or you have dealt with it, as well as anxiety, also please comment and share your story. You never know, it might motivate someone, and it might help someone see life differently. You never know who you might help. Also, very importantly, please pray. If there's something you believe in, please pray. God is amazing. God is powerful. He will get you through anything. Honestly, He will. I've worked through things, and I just feel like I am a lot happier now. I am ready to be the best version of myself. I'm working on it, and I feel like I'm ready to be in a relationship. I know when I'm in a relationship, when I love. So I'm ready to let someone into my life again. And have friends, good friends, people that are good for me, and just taking it easy, taking life, one day at a time, and not being too hard on myself. That's what I'm about now. So just to end things off, actually, I just want to read something for you that helped me get through things. A verse: the Lord is close to the brokenhearted, and saves those who are crushed in spirit. That is Psalm 34 verse 18. So that is it. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I don't know if I'm going to be sharing any more stories on mental health, depression, anxiety. If you want to see more videos like that, let me know. But I am also going to start sharing my my fitness videos again, but only in the summer. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.